Good morning, Year 9. It's Mrs. Reed here, and this is the final lesson of English for this year. So I thought we would finish off with a bit of a quiz, okay? And there are 5 rounds in this quiz altogether. So in order to get started, you're going to need a piece of paper, you're going to need a pen, and you may wish to get yourself into a team, pair if you like. You can work individually if you wish. Once you've done that, give yourself a team name, poetry inspired please. So think about all the things we've studied this term and make sure that you have a link in your team name to something we have learned. And get ready, there are 40 marks available on this quiz. Okay, let's make a start with round 1. This is our picture quiz. Okay, so for each of the pictures, you just need to say which poem it relates to. Obviously, we have studied 7 poems, so you want to think about which one this image links to. Some of them will be obvious, some a little bit more tricky. Okay, let's go. Number 1. Which poem? Make sure you write your answer down, please. Okay, number 2 coming up. Which poem? Coming up to number 3. Which poem? Number 4. Which poem? Ready for number 5. Which poem? And finally, number 6. Which poem? Okay, I'm just going to whiz back through those one more time for you to check really quickly before we mark our answers. This is your last chance. So this was number 1. Number 2. Number 3. 4. 5. And 6. Okay, so you might wish to swap with another team, somebody sat next to you, or mark your answers with a different colour, please. Let's see how you did. So number 1, the poem was Exposure. Yes, all their eyes were ice. Number 2, the poem was Bayonet Charge, a trickier one this. That was that reference to the cold clockwork of the stars. Number 3, the poem was Poppies, perhaps a bit easier that one. Number 4 was Remains. Number 5, Charge of the Light Brigade. And number 6, Kamikaze, referencing to the tuna there when he was describing all the fish. So give yourself a mark out of 6. Okay, let's go on to round 2. Round 2 are definitions. It's just out of the 7 poems that we have studied. Okay, so these are just the war poems. So you need to write down the definition in your own words for each piece of vocabulary. Okay, the first one then is patriotic. Write your definition. Okay, next up is the word intoxicated. Okay, next is the word embarked. Right, next up the word is impassively. Okay, the next word is melancholy. Next up we have blundered, and this has a bonus point attached to it. Tell me what the word means, as well as which poem and poet for that extra point. Okay, next up we have the word incessantly. And finally, we have the word kleos. Remember, we talked quite a lot about this concept, how some of our poems supported the idea of kleos and others might challenge. But what did it mean? Okay, so one quick last look through and then we'll mark. So our words were patriotic, number 1. Number 2, intoxicated. Number 3, embarked. Number 4, impassively. Number 5, melancholy. Number 6, with a bonus point, blundered. Number 7, incessantly. Number 8, kleos. Okay, number 1, patriotic, to show devotion to or love for one's country. Number 2, okay, intoxicated. So in the poem we read, the soldier was intoxicated, kind of drawn in the sense of curiosity and excitement about going to war, but it might also apply to somebody who has taken a substance such as drugs or alcohol. Set out on a journey, that was the word embarked. He embarked on a one-way journey into history. Impassively, okay, without emotion. Melancholy was about a sense of sadness. Blundered, that was charge of the Light Brigade. Alfred Lord Tennyson, someone had blundered, someone had made a mistake. Well done if you got the bonus point. Number 7, incessantly, constantly, without stopping. And number 8, that was kleos. And that concept referred to the glory that people sought to achieve by dying violently in battle. Okay, excellent. Give yourself marks out of 8, please. Round 3. Okay, so round 3 is key quotations. Okay, so you just need to again write the name of the poem. Some easy, some a bit trickier. When you're ready, let's make a start. Number 1. The world overflowing like a treasure chest. Which poem does this quote come from? Number 2. Probably armed, possibly not. Which poem? I think that one's an easy one. Number 3. But nothing happens. Which poem? Number 4. Into the Valley of Death. Which poem? Number 5. Threw up a yellow hair. Which poem? Between the Bath and Pre-Lunch Beers. Which poem? A One-Way Journey into History. Which poem? Okay, let's go through those one more time. So we had The World Overflowing Like a Treasure Chest was number 1. Probably Armed, possibly not, number 2. But Nothing Happens, number 3. Into the Valley of Death was number 4. Threw Up a Yellow Hair, number 5. Between the Bath and Pre-Lunch Beers was number 6. And A One-Way Journey into History, number 7. Again, you might want to swap with somebody else or use a different coloured pen to mark your answers. Get ready. Okay, number 1, the answer there was poppies. Number 2 was remains. 3, your poem was exposure. Number 4 was charge of the Light Brigade. Number 5 was bayonet charge. 6 was war photographer. And number 7 was kamikaze. Great. So you want to give yourself a mark out of 7 for this round. Okay, well done everyone. Get ready for part 2 in just a moment.